happy 2022, and I'm going to be sharing my autumn slash winter makes. To be fair, most of my makes were sewn up in November. I think, like most of us, I was busy in December getting ready for Christmas. I did sew up a couple of things, this being one of them. This was literally my last sew of the year, and the other sew that I made in December, or sews, were some knickers and a sweater for the hubster, for Carl. So let's get started, and hopefully for once I am really organised. The first thing I made, and I'm not going to call it a fail, but it's not exactly a success. If you saw my previous video, I think it was, I had a go at making the Dawn jeans, which is a denim jean, and it's a non-stretch denim pattern. Now, I struggled with this in so much as I made about 5 toiles, eventually made the jeans up, and they fit beautifully the first 5 minutes they're on. And then the nature of a rigid denim is, as it gets warmer and you move about, it stretches a little bit. So they ended up being a little bit, not big, but just a little bit looser than I'd have liked. So it meant wearing a belt to stop them just dropping down a bit, which doesn't help with the bottom. So I thought I'd have another go. So I just bought some really inaffordable, is that the right word? Cheap. I'll go cheap. I bought some really cheap denim, and it cost me £8 for 2 meters off an Etsy seller. And I don't do wearable toiles. It's either a toile or it's something that you actually make to wear. And sometimes I will, a brand new pattern I'll try out, make it up as is, and then I can sort of decide, especially if it's a simple pattern like t-shirt, I can decide whether I need to make any adjustments. Anyway, back to the Dawn jeans, which are, if you don't know, the pattern is by Megan Nielsen. Oh, I can't get the... And there are several options of styles. There's the sort of straighter leg, which and they're high-waisted. This is what I wanted. Straighter leg, and you've got a flared leg, and then as you can see on the line drawing, you've got, I beg your pardon, there's 4. You've got the shorts, and then there's more like, I don't think it's a skinny, it's more like a stovepipe. But I went for the straight leg. So this time round, I saw that I could size down. And I think I originally made the 14, I think it was. Was it the 16? I either made the 16 and went down to the 14. I made the 14 and went down to the 12. I honestly can't remember. And then I started making them. And the denim, for a cheap denim, was actually really nice. And used all the adjustments I'd made on the original jeans, barring the fact that obviously this was a size smaller. And when I put them on, they were really tight. And I stuck to the seam allowances. And when I put them on, I could get them on, but it was a case of, it was a bit like the old days, laying on the bed, pulling up the zip. But this time around, I've got more tummy than I did when I was in my teens and 20s and 30s even. But once I got them on, I could get them zipped up, but they were so uncomfortable, so rigid, couldn't bend, couldn't sit. I actually felt sick because it was just pushing everything up. So I didn't actually bother finishing them. So I've done the buttonhole. Even though I've done the buttonhole, I haven't cut through, but I have sewn, if you can see, I have sewn the buttonhole. Haven't bothered with the button, and I haven't hemmed them yet. So they're not a fail. Like most of us, I don't do resolutions. It's more sort of, I aim to do something, and I do need to lose about a stone and a half. And that's not because I care about my weight. I'm to be perfectly honest, I'm quite happy the way I am. However, I do have back issues, and being overweight does not help. And now it's winter, my knees are hurting again. The weight doesn't help. So come the spring, maybe summer next, because if I do lose the weight, I just want to do it nice and slowly. They may fit, and then I'll finish them off, so they're not a total fail. So that was the first thing. I mean, that I made those beginning of November, and then I went on to make the Mandy Boat Tea by Tessuti Patterns. This is a free pattern, nice pattern. It does, I think it came up, let me look. It did come up bust wise. It's actually quite generous. Have I got the sizes? Oh, it's all in centimetres. But I think I made the medium or the large. I'm not sure, but I knew when I looked at the measurements from what I thought, I knew I had to sort of come down a little because it was going to be too big. And the fabric I used was this lovely cotton spandex t-shirting from First Fabrics. They did, I don't know if they've still got it. If they have, I'll put a link below. And there were 3 colourways. I went for the red because I do like a bit of red on me. Now I found when I put it on, it fits beautifully. It's just a t-shirt, so I'm not going to bother showing it. It fits beautifully across. I've got a nice little bit of drape, not too much, because with a drop sleeve you can end up with a lot of fabric pooling. But I did find where the sleeve hits the arm, it's a little bit tight. Once the t-shirt's been warm for an hour or so, again with it warming up and stretching, because I have got real hocks of ham for biceps, and it was just tight. I had thought of, when I do this again, because it is a nice t-shirt, of just slightly redrafting the sleeve and the armhole. But to be perfectly honest, now I've actually worn it properly rather than just a quick try on, it does stretch a little. And if you were to make it with a cotton that doesn't have any spandex, which doesn't sort of recover, maybe you'll get even more stretch. But that's what I just want to warn you about, or advise you about with this t-shirt. Lovely make, nice and simple. It's a beautiful, I'm not really keen normally on just a hemmed neckline. But the way this has been drafted, it comes up ever so slightly before you fold it, so that when you fold it down, it just folds nice and neatly. And then I just cover stitch this one, but and it's a lovely boat neck. I love a boat neck. So that's that one. And then I went on to make this top, but not this top, i.e. this top in another fabric. And it's the Orono top by Itch to Stitch. It's that one. Now, it's a really simple top. You've got 2 pieces, hold up, you've got 2 pieces at the front, piece at the back, and then the 2 sleeves, and then obviously the neckline. There are, I don't know if you can see stitching lines there, that are pockets. Now, I decided not to put the pockets in because they hit right on your hips and tummy, and I certainly didn't want to be sort of accentuating that. And the other thing is that I'm actually really long in the body for my size. I'm only 5'3", but I've got a very long body, about 29 inch from nape to sort of bottom. And I usually have, depending on the pattern that's drafted, I usually have to add about anywhere between 1 inch to 2 inches to the the bodice. I actually found with this, it sits a little bit longer anyway, and I wanted it to sit just higher, just where, you know, where the tummy, if you've got the bulge like I have, where the tummy bulge finishes, but where you've got the sort of low hip. And again, if you've got short legs, I think that's a really flattering look, because it doesn't swamp you and look like you've got just feet coming out from your torso. And it covers the bits you want to cover. So I had to take a good, I think it was 2 or 3 inches up from this, which does mean you've got, because you've got a big curved edge, it does mean you have to true that up, but it's simple enough. The other thing that's really nice about it is, I don't know if you can see this, if I get closer, I don't know if you can see, there we go, there is a dart, a really long one, that goes essentially to the end of the shoulder, and it's an open dart. It's one of those ones that's cut, that you sew up, not the normal triangle. And what that does, because again, a raglan sleeve can be, if you've either got very rounded or very slopey shoulders, or I've got quite good shoulders, but I've got a very small frame, and if I wear a raglan sleeve, sometimes it could just make me look a bit as though my head's just sitting on a torso and I don't have any shoulders. But that dart, it's essentially a shoulder, it's made a shoulder seam in a raglan sleeve, and I think that is a little bit of very thoughtful pattern design. So the first one I made of this was, oh, I've just got them hanging, sorry. Now, you might have seen this, a lot of fabric sellers do have this, or did have this, and there were, I think, 4 different colourways. I, again, got this from First of Fabrics. I ended up buying 2 because I just could not make up my mind. I do like these, I shouldn't really wear warm colours, and if you've seen or follow Hales Moore, she has just started or released a challenge about sewing for your colours. I can't remember all the details because she's got a new hashtag too, one for American spelling and one for English spelling, but I will put the details below. So really, this is a warm palette, and I do look better in sort of more vibrant colours, but there's enough of the sort of teal and the, it's not showing up here, but it's a even though it's a pale pink, it's a blue pink rather than a coral pink. But I think I can get away with that. Well, I know I can get away. I've worn this, but this is this. What I'll do is I'll put some long pictures. But you've got, actually, if I stand up, I wonder if it'd be easier if I stand up and show you. So you've seen the raglan sleeve. Now you'll notice I've got sort of stripes going on with a dotty body. Now, oh, there we go. Now, am I too close? This is a double-faced fabric, and I couldn't make up, oh, a bit of thread there. I couldn't make up my mind which way I wanted to go, whether I wanted the stripes, because I do like a stripe, or whether I wanted the dots. And this is ideal for that. Now, if I just put you away a bit, if you can see, you've got the side seam, and then you've got this wraps all the way underneath, and then this wraps over the top. And as you can see, I've got it finishing just below where my tummy stops and on the high hip. And you don't, because these two pieces get sewn in first to the back pieces, you don't sew everything in the flat, so you sew the side seams up, then you put these sleeves in. Very easy to do, because it's a nice big space. There's no easing or anything, and even with the neck is actually designed really nicely. So I did, barring the darts, which I did on the sewing machine, because obviously you need to iron those flat, everything was done on the overlocker. And I think I did it. I'm a really slow sewer, very slow sewer. And I think I made it in a couple of hours from, it was already cut out, but I did, it took me a couple of hours, and that's only because I'm slow and I have to get up and take sewing breaks, get moving about. So I made that one first, I made this one first, loved it so much. I then, at the end of the year, my last make, I went on to make this one, and I'm really glad I did. And I think there might be some more in the offing. I do like the being able to sort of play with the different patterns of the fabric. And you don't have to have a double-faced fabric. If you've got, it's actually a good stash buster, because if you've got just that little bit, I don't know, would it be about half a metre? If you've got half a metre of an equal weight fabric from the main body, then you could do that, and well, you'd need a little bit more for the neck, because that's doubled over. So that's that. Then what did I go on to make next? Right, I went on and made another. I love these. I mean, you'll know, because I made one at the end of the summer in the, what do you call it, cotton rami. So I went on to make another hinterland dress, but I went on to make the pinafore version, or sleeveless, but I did it at the longer length. I had in my stash some very fine baby cord, navy baby cord, and I had it for the longest time and didn't have a clue what I was going to do with it. I thought first I'd make some trousers or jeans, and then I thought, well, that only needs 2 metres. Then I've got another 2 metres. What will I do with the 2 metres? Maybe a skirt, but I didn't. I thought it was too fine actually for a skirt. Too, you know, it's not a heavyweight, and I ended up making the, just bear with, the pinafore, and yes, it's come out beautifully. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with the buttonholer on my machine, especially when I'm buttonholing something thicker. So I did the tried and true popper method, and I've got lots of poppers in my stash, and I had the old I've still got some chalk marks there, but I did have the, no, they're not chalk marks, or maybe they are. Then it's really funny because they're not showing in real life. Anyway, the sort of jeans coloured poppers, so I think that works really well. I've got a photo of that. It's turned out really nice. See, the thing I like about a pinafore over a dress is that you can wear something underneath, you know, layer up, and I'm actually starting to feel I might have to change in a minute. You can layer up with either a t-shirt or a roll neck, or even something heavy if you do feel the cold. And that's why I do love about, or even a short sleeve t-shirt and a little crop cardigan looks really sweet. So that's why I like pinafores over dresses. I do love a dress, but they're not as practical. And also, with pinafores, you can sort of dress up, but without feeling dressed up. I don't know about you, but if I wear a dress, I do feel dressed up as though I'm going to some sort of event, whether that's well, I don't go to garden parties, but you know what I mean, a party, barbecues, which none of us have done for the longest time, but barbecues or summer parties, that sort of thing. That's how I feel with the dress. So that's why I like the pinafores. And then the last thing I made, and that was for the hubster. I've made him a few of these. It's the first time I've made this in a sweater knit. I've made it before in sweatshirting, and that is the, if you can see that, it's the Finlayson. It's either a hoodie or it's sort of the old crossover jumper style top, although the hoodie, when the hood's down, it still has that crossover effect. I've made this a few times for my husband. As I said before, previously in sweatshirting, but this time I found some, this I've actually seen on lots of sites, but I got this from Sew Me Sunshine, and it's a viscose rich sweater knit, and it's, I'll just show you the fabric first. It's a rib, but it's actually got a little pattern within the rib, and it's ever so slightly different on the inside because that's what I used to do the cuffing. Now, and I haven't got any photos of him in it. He's not worn it yet. And then it's a bit floppy. Now this, if you can see, it's a beautiful fabric. It is absolutely gorgeous. It feels so nice, but can I tell you, it was like sewing a slinky. That's the only way I can describe it. I can't even get it to sit. It has to be on the body. But it's a beautiful, beautiful fabric, really soft. Although it's quite lightweight-ish, like medium weight, I reckon this will be quite warm in the winter, despite the fact that it's not a thicker sweatshirting. But it was like sewing a slinky. Most of it was done on the overlocker. I think I did all of it on the overlocker. But I played with the differential all over, and I just could not, except for actually the hem, but I just could not get it as non-wavy as I wanted. So that, oh, one more make. I'm just going to have to pause you, and I'm really pleased with this. Okay, I'm back from downstairs, and the last thing I wanted to show you, oh, I am so proud of this. I have made quite a few tote bags in my time for myself and as gifts, and they've been quite detailed totes. They've been lined, they've had zip pockets on the inside, the outside, really lovely hardware, nice leather handles, all that sort of stuff. But I've never made a bag as such. And oh, it's got to be months ago now. It must have been in the summer. I bought some lovely cork fabric from the lovely Alison at Create in Colour. I'll put her link down below. And she actually did a test, because we were talking about the coming fashion trends, and because quilting is very much in for this season. But I've got a quilted sort of down overcoat, and I didn't want any more quilted coaty type things, but I wanted to sort of, you know, sort of have a nod to that trend. So I thought, how nice would it be to make a quilted bag? And as I said, Alison kindly sort of tested out the cork fabric to see how it quilted up. She sent me a picture. It looked lovely. I already had some foam wadding, I suppose you'd call it, but it's for bag making, in my stash. It's not Decaville. Decaville's the usual brand, but it's a foam wadding, which is a little bit more substantial than your wadding that you would use to make bed quilts and throws. So I set to by at first quilting the fabric before actually cutting out the bag pieces, and I wanted a Chanel style bag. I was inspired when I went up to London in the summer. I saw a girlie on the tube, boyfriend blazer, jeans, and a red Chanel style bag crossbody, and I thought it just looked so chic. It was that sort of, I don't know what smart casual means, but she had this sort of smartish bag with that sort of very dressed down blazer and jeans, and I just thought it looked lovely. So that was my inspiration. Already had the red cork because I'd liked the colour. I'd already bought that off Alison, but I needed to get some hardwarey bits to go with, because also the trend, they call it camera bag. I still think it's a Dior style, Chanel style bag, but they were calling it this style that I've made a camera bag, because it's got a web strap rather than either a self leather, or in this case cork strap, or to Chanel have the chain straps. So without further ado, here it is. This is my bag. I quilted, and you can see how substantial it is. I have got a purse in here, and I'll show you how big, you get an idea how big this is. I had a free pattern from a sewing magazine, which I slightly adapted, and I want to talk about that in another video. So I used that. There's a pocket on the outside. Now the original pattern had a strap that went over with a little bit there, a tab to put the strap. I didn't like that. I just thought it didn't look neat. So what I did was put the old, and it's so strong, a magnetic popper. It's lined. I used some lovely Kaffe Facet quilting fabric, which again I got from the lovely Alison. So the pocket's lined, and then the zip. I had a zip that I bought from Alison, but I ended up buying another one because the zip I'd bought was black, and I wanted red with the gold. And I went to an Etsy seller that I always get my zips from. I'll put the links down below. The zipper station, that's who I usually go to. So a nice zip, and then you can see how big this is because I've got a huge purse in there. That's my purse, Mahusiv. And then I put I don't know if you can see that, it's flopping because I'm having to pull, but it's a slip pocket. Now in the instructions and the pattern it said you can either have one big one, but I split it into two, so it's sewn down, but I put a rivet in there just so that it doesn't it protects the fabric from ripping, and that's folded over with some interfacing in. And then what's nice about this, you can't, because this has got this is a separate piece for the zip, and then you have the side gusset, which is all one piece. Because of that, you can't bag out this bag in the normal way, where you would make one, do another, you know, your lining, and then sew it all up by the bottom, and then bag it out. You can't do that with this. And what's nice about this pattern, given that it's a freebie out of Simply Sewing, is that it has, to all intents and purposes, it has the look of a bagged out lining, and the only sort of giveaway is that you have these, where there's side bit is, just got this little folded over fabric, and that's going between the inner and the outer. Because a lot of these patterns, if you look on Etsy and or other bag making type sites that do this sort of bag, essentially you're putting it inside but piping all where the seams are, and I thought that looks quite cheap. This is done all nicely. Beautiful hardware. This is, like I said, apart from the zip, everything's from Alison, but the hardware is the Emmeline hardware. Now anyone that's made bags, whether you just made a tote and decided to get some nice hardware, you will know the quality of Emmeline hardware, the colours, whether it's the gold, the silver. They do a sort of like petrol on water colours. You'll know that the colours are always really nice, solid. I mean, that is a really solid piece. And then the strapping, again Alison, with the matching Emmeline slider, and this is a cotton strapping, and I picked it because I was going to go for something. I knew that I wouldn't be able to get anything matching this, so I always think if you can't get the matching colour, then it's to go for the something contrasting. But what I liked about it was the red within the stripe looked nice. And I just like the stripes. And no sooner had I got the strapping, I'm seeing all these camera bags all over the shop. So this is what it is. I have got a picture of me wearing it with my pinafore, but I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like on now. So please forgive the fact that it's not going to go with this top, but I love it. And I've got it set quite low. My couch is swallowing me up. And if you can see, if I get you further away, oops, now you're out of the light, but if you can see how nice that is. Sorry about that, that's the back of my light. Isn't that nice? I love it, absolutely love it. So I do want to make some more. Look at that, you can see these are my skivvy, as I call them, sweats, because they've been bleached with bleach, because I've got a thing about bleach. So, okay, right, that's it. My next vid, which hopefully will be coming sooner rather than later, because I'll be filming it after this one, are going to be my plans. Everything's just sitting there in front of me now, all cut out and ready to sew. But I'll show you what I'm going to be doing with those, or what I'm planning to make. And what's the other thing? Oh, I know, I'm on a roll here, so I thought, since I've got all the slap on, done my hair, I've got another video I'm going to do as well, because I want to do a little series, and I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing thing or just a mini thing, so you'll know what I'm talking about when I do the video. It was lovely sharing my makes with you, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.